Welcome to podcast number, I believe it's 10. We have a lot of podcasts behind us of mastering the real estate. I'm here today. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio, and we are here today with one of my good friends, another good realtor friend, Matt Zampella. Matt is coming to us from Silicon Valley, Palo Alto area. It's obviously everyone knows the Silicon Valley, and he must have lots of stories to share with us today. So welcome, Matt. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. So before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about my friend Matt. Matt is one of the Bay Area's real estate record shatterers. Matt Zampella is one of the on the fast track to the top end of luxury real estate. He has been recognized as one of the top 1,000 real estate agents by the Wall Street Journal and Real Trends annual rankings report 3 years running. He was also honored as one of the top realtors under 40 by Gentry magazine. No matter how hectic he is, Matt is never too busy to answer the phone and show his listings himself. Matt was personally recruited to work at the Sereno Group, which boasts highest per agent productivity in residential real estate brokers and is ranked the #1 best place to work in the Bay Area. This boutique real estate firm handpicks their agents, creating a culture unparalleled in the industry. In addition to redefining residential real estate, Matt and Sereno Group believe in giving back, and so the 1% for Good was born. Matt and Sereno Group have pledged to give 1% of gross commissions to a local charitable group. Matt is tenacious, dedicated, and believes unequivocally that satisfied clients are a product of his hard work, creativity, and experience. I know, that's a lot. Well, oh my gosh. So Matt and I met. It's always weird listening to what people read about you. Matt and I met at Luxury Connect, Inman's Luxury Connect. I think it was like close to 10 years ago, maybe.
Something
It
like
was
that.
a while ago. And it was really great. It was in Beverly Hills. And we became fast friends with a group of friends that you came down with. And we went to some really amazing houses. I still use the photo from Alwood Mansion or the estate. Um, in Holmby Hills, a beautiful party, a beautiful estate. You'll probably remember the story more. I think Marilyn Monroe spent some time there, and there was actually between the Beverly Hills Hotel. I remember this fun fact: between the Beverly Hills Hotel and Alwood Estate, there was a tunnel. Do you remember that
Oh,
story?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
And then we had another party. Mauricio Umansky of the
Yeah.
agency. He hosted a party at a really cool modern house, and there was a
Right.
mer. It was the first time I saw a mermaid swimming, and then we were down at the bar, and that you can see the mermaid literally wearing a mermaid outfit swimming by as we were having cocktails. It was a pretty fun
Super fun.
conference. I don't think I've been to such a fun conference before. And then we reconnected in San Francisco, and then we refer business back and forth. And that is one of the reasons I love interviewing and getting to know other agents. Is I love I love that we're like-minded, we're charity-minded, we're
Definitely.
outgoing, and we love to help our clients. So it's just such a wonderful way to give back, and also to help our clients, and we can all do more business together. So we've had guests over the last 10 episodes. One guy was in a SWAT team. We've had many teachers. We had someone who was doing charity work. She came out of retirement to go into real estate. We've had a lot of different people come into real estate. My first question is, how did you get into real estate? And did you have a prior career before you got into real estate?
I didn't. I came kind of right out of college. I got into real estate because it was sophomore year of college, and I called my dad and I said, I think I want to start flipping houses. I need $1 million. And he said, no, I'll give you 100 grand. So he wired me 100 grand, and I flipped my first house, and then some more from there and there. And then after we graduated college, moved back to the San Francisco Bay Area, and got my license and started selling here.
Wow. So you started from the beginning. I love that. That not a
Yeah,
lot
right
of
out of
people.
college.
And where did you grow up, and where did you go to college?
So I grew up here in Saratoga, California, and then I went to school at Seattle University, met my wife, and we moved back to the Bay in like 2006 or something like that.
Okay, awesome. So when I'm hosting this podcast, I kind of, in my mind, I see myself talking to my 25-year-old self when I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I always want to help others, whether they're new agents or seasoned agents. I want to help them with their business. So I'm going to mix the questions up a little bit. So
Okay.
agents are always seeking to grow their business. Can you give me 5 things, whether they're new or seasoned? We're always having to recreate ourselves. What are 5 things and a seasoned or new agent should do to continue to nurture their business and grow their business?
I really think the number one thing anybody can do is knowing the data. I think knowing data is paramount. So, how many houses on the market, how many in contract, how many have sold, what price points. I think data is one of the most important things that you could know. I think your sphere or what you've sold to is super important. I just call people when I'm driving around and say, hey, was thinking about you, was in your neighborhood, had coffee near you, had this new restaurant opened up. And so I think keeping in touch personally, either writing handwritten letters, texting if you're unfamiliar, if you're uncomfortable calling, or calling your people and just saying, "Hey, what's happening?" I think that's where you get your referrals, and real estate just comes up naturally. You don't even have to ask them,
Right.
about.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
Definitely. So you're in the South Bay, Silicon Valley, Palo Alto.
yeah.
Yeah. Another reason I love this is I get to virtually travel with people wherever I'm interviewing them. So tell people who know nothing about the Silicon Valley all the different cities you work in and what it's like to live there.
So Mid Peninsula is Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Atherton, Los Altos, Hillsborough, and then you could get a little bit more kind of country if you want. You can go Portola Valley Woodside. So we're the tech hub. We've got a lot of money. We're the high rent district. There's just a lot of money flowing. Stanford's sort of our bellwether in terms of where everybody kind of wants to be, and then it goes out from there. But it's a lovely place. It's very family oriented, and like I said, you could do a little bit more urban and be say Atherton, Los Altos, or a little bit more country and go Portola Valley Woodside.
Nice. And what are your favorite things to do in and around, or what would people like to do when they come there to the different areas?
There's a lot of great stuff to do. We've got some wonderful downtowns. Downtown Los Altos is wonderful. There's some great restaurants. Downtown Woodside, you can go. We've got a lot of parks, a lot of hiking. But it's our proximity too. We're so close to Tahoe, Napa Valley, Yountville, Carmel. I mean, we're just kind of right in the center of it. It's not far from anything.
No, it's awesome. It's so
It is.
great. Other than your father being your first client, kind of, do you recall how you got your first client and what that transaction was like?
Oh, of course. I think does everybody remember their first deal?
Of course.
So when I moved back to the Bay Area, I had no sales experience, no track record, and so I hooked up with a senior agent who'd been in the business a long time, and I was more or less an appointment center. So I door knocked. I door knocked on a house not far from where I grew up, near my parents' neighborhood, and I said, "Hey, I saw this came off the market. We'd love an opportunity to interview. I'm going to bring in my senior agent who sold whatever it might be, hundreds of millions in real estate, and." We set the appointment, we got the listing, and we sold it. I don't remember what our commission split, but I got paid, and that was my first deal.
That's awesome. No, I know. And good for you for door knocking. I know in different areas, people door knock, in some areas they don't. And so it's just another way for an agent to meet with potential clients. So I think that's great. I have 5 or 6 taglines that I live by. And so I'm going to say them and then you tell me does it resonate with you?
Okay.
Um, Luxury is a service, not a price point.
I think that's fair. You want me to comment on each one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're buying. I think it's how you connect with people, how you communicate, and how you treat them. I mean, we've all had the story. I sold a condo to a lady for I don't remember, it was 400,000 or 500,000, or maybe it was 800,000. Anyway, and then her parents bought a $3 million house for me. So because I treated her the same way I would anybody.
That's exactly the point. I love that. Adam and I came up with that tagline because some people see you and they say, "Oh, you only do high end,"
Right.
and the high end are like, "Well, because you're also showing the lower end." And so we were trying to explain exactly what you just said. Everyone gets the same service, and you never know where the next deal is coming
I
from or
agree.
who it's going to come from. Awesome. Helping others, and I know this resonates with you, helping others gives success true meaning.
I couldn't agree more with that one either. I think when you really put yourself out there and really, again, connect with them, I think that's the best satisfaction you can get. And there's nothing better than finding someone their first house or their dream house, or finally getting them into the neighborhood they want, and that's, I think, really special.
Awesome. Making transitions easier. It's the biggest time and a biggest change in a person's life, right? So making transitions easier.
That's a really great one, because I think regardless of what this is, which is, buying a great house or whatever it might be, everybody hates to move. So the transition part, I think, is super important. And if you can make it easy, because they just want to get to the next stage and the next point, and moving is the worst. So the transition is super important.
We're here to help them.
Right.
When we give, we receive many times over.
Sure. I mean, same back to my story. I mean, oh, and I had another one too. I was really nice to a housekeeper once,
Mm.
and she ended up referring me to a listing for $11 million. So,
Oh my gosh.
I'm not even joking. It's a true story. And she
Believe
loved me.
you.
We kept in touch, and the current agent wasn't nice to her.
I 100% subscribe to that. Absolutely. I love that story.
Same.
Realtors are colleagues, not competitors.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess at some point, this business is pretty cutthroat, and we're working in we're working in arguably the most expensive place in the country. It's a little cutthroat. I mean, we try to be collaborative on, pricing and how many offers you had and that sort of thing, but it's pretty cutthroat.
Okay, all right. That's okay. All right. So enough of my tagline. So now we're going to go to local, regional, and national. And how do you work with other agents, and why is it crucial to your business? Even though it's cutthroat, you've got to work with them. So how do you work with other agents, and why is it crucial in our business?
I think it's great to work with other agents. A great way to get out to meet other people is just go on broker tour, go meet them, see what they're doing. I think, if you're in a multiple offer situation, we've all been there, where you get, 5, 6, 7 offers, whatever it might be, and there's 2 of them, you don't know them, you've never heard of them, and it's just, you get anxiety and you just want the deal to close. And it's not even for you, it's for your seller, right? Like, you want the deal to be solid for them, and when you don't know them, it's frustrating and puts you off a little bit. So get out there. It's important to know your colleagues for that kind of business, referral business. Like, I don't work Marin, I don't really work the East Bay, South County. So those are places I refer to often. Not so much nationally. You have these one-offs where you need someone for, whatever it is, Oregon or Idaho, New York. But and those are really great to meet people at the conferences. But the
Yeah.
local people outside of your direct area, I think, is really important, because you will get those referrals way more often.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. Now we're going to jump to a commercial break, and we will be right back with Matt Zampella.
Mike Zorek, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm Debbi DiMaggio, and I'm here with Matt Zampella of the Silicon Valley. And we are trying to get through all these questions. I usually never make it, but I'm going to try to make it snappy today. How are you meeting clients? What types of organizations or social networking are you involved with? I know you're social.
I'm very social. I don't do a whole lot with the social organization. My clients I do a lot of repeat business, but, like I said before, I'm not above door knocking at all. I think, prospecting, expireds have been a great fundamental part of my business and where a lot has come from. And, taking that, but also, like I said, calling people constantly, staying in front of people. I think it's just really super important, an amazing way that you can just stay top of mind either for them or for their friends or, colleagues.
So you still door knock now after all these years?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed. I'll have to go with you. You can show me what it's like. I just have a fear of door knocking. I've never done
No,
it.
I think the point is you door knock and then you step back like 10 feet so it's not like you're in their face and just say, hey, house came off the market. Are you interviewing? I'd love to interview.
Wow, good for you. I love it. Okay, you're in a very high notoriety area. Have you sold to any celebrities or tech people down there in the Silicon Valley?
For sure. I have lots of CEO clients, some very well-known CEOs that you would know the names of if you heard them. They're regular people, but they're looking for big houses and privacy. Privacy is probably the most important thing that they're looking for.
Nice. Very nice. Good. Okay. Can you provide any tips for new agents entering the real estate market? We're in a whole different time probably when you started. For sure, when I started, there was no internet, Craigslist, social media, email. It was like nothing. So what could you provide, any advice for tips for agents coming into the business today?
Yeah, so I tell people sort of the same thing. So again, number one, data. So whenever you meet somebody, open houses, whatever it might be, just quickly find out how many houses are on the market in the area, what the price points are, what's sold and what's in contract. The other thing to do is try and find something to differentiate yourself. So when I would do open houses or I'd meet with buyers, I would bring the contract and I'd say, has anyone gone through the 9-page or whatever it is, 9-page contract with you? And they'd say no. And we'd sit there and go through it. It wouldn't take that long because a lot of it's boilerplate, but a little bit different. Say, oh, you know what? Now I've gone through the contract before even looking at houses, before writing on anything, and just a little bit something I would differentiate myself with.
All right, that is genius. So right now, the DiMaggio Beta Group is growing. We have our 27-year-old son, Chase, working with us now.
I love that.
Amazing as a mom. And then we just hired Xander. Xander's from London, but I grew up with his mother in Piedmont, and he's completely British, and he just started. So I'm also asking these questions too. Now, I always put everything towards what kind of information would I like and what would our guests like. So Xander, today, I learned this. I was talking to someone who I'm going to be interviewing shortly, and she's a real estate coach, and she was giving me some questions that she might want to answer. Sorry, I'm sick today. She said, I have a new client agent that I'm working with, and I told her to do 30 open houses in 30 days.
Wow.
And I said, wow. So I went back and I told Xander, this is what, he's like, I'll do that. He's like, can you do that? Sure. And then you are going to get to know those neighbors. They're going to see you. They're going to see your passion, your dedication, your tenacity, your follow through. So I love what you just said about having that. So I'm going to tell Xander, after I teach him how to go through a purchase contract, I'll highlight it for him. Bring a purchase contract. I love that. I just want to shout that
Oh,
out
good.
again. I think it's a new one. I haven't heard that, so I love
Good.
it. So that's on the buy side. And so now my next question was, okay, you market, you have a lot of fabulous properties. I've seen some of the marketing on some of your amazing homes. What are some marketing strategies you use to promote and showcase and technology and photographs? What do you do to showcase, take, one of your most interesting, highest price? Because a lot of times when we have the lower end, yes, we should still do professional photography,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot to market and there's not a lot to showcase. So give us a visual picture of and describe the home.
Well, so, if you've got something really nice, usually the photographer, you want to get something a little bit more upscale. He'll likely have an assistant with him, to help with lighting, and they'll likely be there all day. I mean, there's normally large houses, lots of land. I think video is really important. I love aerial videos and the internal videos. I don't need to be in it. You don't need to see me waving you in. Come on in the house. I don't like any of that. Just walk in, show. I think one of the best things that we can do are short videos for either Instagram, YouTube, whatever it might be. But if you do those short videos, either aerials or internal, where you show the kitchen and baths and run through it and whatever it might be, 20 seconds, because we all know attention span's gone. So you got to get through it. But
Exactly.
I think the little videos are really, really helpful. But, high-end photography, high-end drone videos, all my websites are custom made. So we're doing floor plans, interactive floor plans. And then from the marketing, I think, if we're going to be doing the short videos, those will be everywhere on social media. I mean, if you're online, we're going to find you. And then we do the print stuff as well, magazines, newspapers. People are still reading those. And even if you don't sell it, that's really, for your buyers or referrals. I mean, people who see your face all the time are going to call you or refer you.
I want to shout that out to people because they don't get that. So what Matt is saying is that when we put our ads about the house, that's into a magazine, into a Haven magazine or a luxury magazine, that is not going to sell the house. That is nice for the seller to see their home in print, which is really great. It makes you feel good that you've done that for them. But it is really about people seeing Matt, seeing Debbie, and seeing what we do and seeing how we showcase our listings. Has nothing to do with selling that house, but it is part of your branding and part of your whole marketing strategy. So just wanted to point that out about that. Okay, go on. Tell us some more.
I on that same note, I still think postcards. I still think mail works. I think people read it, even if it's fast. They see your name, they see the property. Will it sell it? No, but that's what really will get you maybe the next business or the call or the interview. To be in the conversation is what we're trying to do with some of the marketing. But again, imprint, online, with really the highest quality you can find for those type of properties, whatever price point that is. My model does set up a little bit for the higher end. My photographer, he costs a fortune. My, my floor plan drawings are expensive. I have my custom in-house web designer who puts all of it on the website. And that's really what the goal is, to drive everybody to the website where all the information is. That's where we want to get all the traffic to.
And super important. So what Matt is saying is he does it all. It's for his branding. It's for the home. What happens with newer agents sometimes are agents who don't get that. I've been coaching for 20 years and coaching agents. And what I see is a newer agent or an agent is really money conscious. There are a lot of free ways, first of all, for us to market, being open houses, door knocking, open house signs, whatever, but social media, all free. But what they don't understand is they'll say, Matt, if you spent $2,500 to put that house in the magazine, what's your return? It's not about what the return is. It's about your branding. It's about people seeing you over and over again. A lot of times these agents wanted, if I do that, what will I get? How many calls or how, will I sell the house? It's not set up like that. Am I correct?
No, I totally agree with you. And I think the branding part of it is really important to establish what, sort of what your brand is. Like for me, I wear a suit and tie almost every day. I always kind of tell the same story. It's like when you go to Tiffany or Cartier. everybody's dressed really nicely. The product is really clean. The lights are beautiful. It's shining everywhere. It's the same kind of thing when I show a house. All the lights are on, maybe the candles lit, some windows and doors are open. The salesman me is there with a suit and tie, and I take this seriously. This is my business. And so I'm going to show up, and by doing that, that's my brand. Is when people show up to my houses, either private showings or open houses, they know it's going to look immaculate and really show really well for them and their buyers.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I know you're super busy and you have a family. How many kids do you have?
I have two now.
Two now. Oh my, how old are they?
12 and 10.
Oh my God, little Matt grew up and now he has two little kids running
Don't
around.
remind me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the next question is, how do you stay organized and manage your schedule effectively to handle multiple transactions?
You know, I still am a little old school that way. I just have an Excel spreadsheet and I write everything down either on paper or in Word. I mean, I must have had 5 or 6 different contacts, whatever that might have been, texts or calls yesterday with clients. And it's really something people don't realize is juggling all these clients is really tough. So I write it all down, what they're looking for, who do I need to call, who's immediately happening in the pipe, who's coming down the pipeline, and who's maybe in the future, whatever it might be, 3, 6, 9 months out. But I think staying organized really has to do with writing it down and looking at it I look at it every single day, and I hustle. That's all we do is hustling, trying to find buyers for the houses or houses for the buyers, and it never stops. But you know, you really have to have it all written down and be very clear. And so I use Excel. I don't use it as CRM, and maybe that's why I'm not as successful as some of these agents. But
No, I don't use the CRM either. I know I should, and
I know.
every time I try to use one, I'm like, oh my God, this takes so much time. I don't have this
Yeah,
time for everything
I
in the
agree.
CRM. So you use an Excel spreadsheet, did you say?
Yeah, I just use an Excel spreadsheet. I have, you know, their names, what they've looked at, what we're looking for, price point, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm out there doing. I look at that every day, every single morning, twice a day, and then you go on MLS, see what they find, go on TAN, Top Agent Network, find what you can see, find off market, call, whatever, just write notes.
And how is your inventory? Do you guys have much inventory in the Silicon Valley?
It's definitely picked up, but it's still low.
Yeah.
And the good stuff is moving quickly, and the stuff that's not prepared or not as desirable for whatever reason is sitting. I think Tom Ferry said, if it's not compelling, it's not selling. And as much as I don't care for that, it does resonate.
It actually, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's how our market in the East Bay is right now.
Yeah.
Piedmont, Oakland, Berkeley. We just had, it was a fixer in Piedmont and we had 19 offers. Everyone, wanted an opportunity. We had 95 disclosure packets out. And then my husband's been writing offers in Alameda, and there's been 7 or 8 offers on houses. So they're on, I think, their 3rd or 4th house. And then we'll have a really nice house and it's not selling.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't appeal to the masses. We have a craftsman that's gorgeous, but it's very singular in the style. You can't tweak it. It's craftsman, but the condition is impeccable. So it'll resonate with someone. But and then go to the house where if they didn't properly paint it and stage it and fix things, then those houses are going to sit. It's a good market, but it's not perfect. So you have to, if it's not compelling, it's not selling. That is very true.
I will admit it's not my line, but
that is good. Okay, I think I said that. Can you? You do so well. So let's go to this one. Have you had any specific challenges you faced in your business and how you overcame them?
Oh, I think inventory is still a challenge for a lot of people. So, back in 21, 22, we had a lot of people who were hot to trot and just couldn't find what they were looking for. We kept getting beaten up and we lost out. So, going to expired listings from a few years ago, either recent ones that didn't sell, that's an easy one for expireds who likely want to sell again, but then really going back even further, 5, 7, 8 years who didn't sell and say, oh, you know what, maybe there's their time. Because what's the time horizon typically for a homeowner? I think it's something like 7 years or something like that. So so we'd go back it's like I said, 7 to 10 years and knock on those doors, or just knock on neighbors. I had a client call me once who said they wanted a house on Patrol Road in Woodside, and it's the only street they wanted.
Oh my gosh.
And I happened to find it for them, but they said we're willing to wait 2 to 3 years, whatever it might be. I happened to find it in a few months, but it was very specific. I placed calls, knocked on doors, and got lucky.
That's amazing. So when you call an expired, just I've never called an expired, and I've been doing this for close to 35 years. What do you say?
So I definitely don't call them. I go to the door because I think everybody gets over inundated with phone calls. So I go right to the door. I'm dressed in my suit, and you just try and be natural and authentic. You know, people don't want to be pushed. They don't want to feel like there's pressure. And you just say, hey, look. In the case where you're trying to find inventory, I'd say, hey, look, we offered on 123 Main Street. We didn't get it. We love the street. We love the neighborhood. Are you open to selling? Or if they were expired, say, hey, look, I know you were on the market 5-6 years ago. We bid on this house. We didn't get it. If you guys are still open to selling, and you don't even have to work with me. I'm not looking to double end it. If they have a real estate, fine, have them call me. You know, it's a little bit tougher, but it's a way to try and creating inventory and finding the houses for your buyers instead of just waiting around.
I love it. It's the word opportunity. We're always in real estate
Yeah.
trying to create an opportunity for our buyers, our sellers, and for ourselves. How are we going to create that opportunity?
I think my mantra, similar to what you're doing earlier, my mantra, I think, is be a problem solver. I think that's the answer in this business.
I 100% agree. So I love your door knocking and expired. I really got to jot that down. Where do your buyers feed from?
A lot of my buyers are still coming from, Sphere or repeat clients. I will admit I am terrible at open houses. I know that's how we all started picking up buyers. It was not me. I can't do it. I just don't know why. If they come in and they say they want to write an offer on the house, I'll write an offer for them. If we don't get it and we naturally say, oh, well, let's go look at other things together. If we connected, great. But I know people who walk in and say, hey, do you have an agent? Do you like this house? I got other things to show you. I can't do it.
I don't do that either. I know. So we have 80 agents that work under us. And so,
Wow.
So what I tell them is come to an open house and work with, just see how I do it. I'm very different. I'm not saying you should follow me by any lead because I basically, they come in, I said, hi, my name's Debbie. If I can help you, please let me know. And then I let them tour. And then, I just kind of let them go. And then if they want to talk, I can feel if they want to talk to me because I'm not pushy. I'm not that type of a person. And it's not like it's good or bad. It's just my style. So then I'll tell the new agent, go to it with 2 other people and see how they are. Because some people are very aggressive. Some people have a better way of doing it that doesn't seem aggressive, but they're way more outgoing than I am. I try to be friendly, but I don't like you. I don't want to hound anyone. It's just not my style.
I'm the same way. That's exactly my style. Hey, welcome to the house. Take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. If there's something I can do, that's my style. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly. So in our area, it's pretty much people are moving in for schools. Our area people come from San Francisco. They come to the Piedmont, Oakland, Berkeley area, maybe when the kids are their couples are having babies. And then they get to an age where the kids need school. So they may try to get into Piedmont or move out through the tunnel. We don't really have international buyers. To me, you live in it's such a big, wide, vast area. So are those people international? Are they coming from, I would assume they must be coming from India and all kinds of different places.
We honestly see it all. We've got people who are upgrading. We've got the story I told earlier about the mom who bought the house for me in Palo Alto for $3 million. She lived in China. She was here. She looked at it and then she left. I sold a house in Burlingame, sight unseen, to some people in China. But we get everything. We have people who, the number one driver of prices in our areas, like your schools. I think that still is the number one driver of prices. So you get a lot of families, but we do have a lot of people who park their money here and then don't live here full time. And it's just an asset that they want to see grow, which does grow. And so we see that a lot in Atherton, people parking money there. North Los Altos is another community where we see it. And then, of course, Woodside, is arguably one of the more expensive communities, similar to Atherton, where you get a little bit more land. But we see it all, families and investment and people, from out of the country.
Okay. And see, we don't have that market. You're a little bit more like LA, the West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Hollywood
Yeah.
Hills, kind of that. We don't have that extra fluff. Um, you know what? Let's take a commercial break. I need a glass of water, and we'll be right back with Matt Zampella.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm here with my friend Matt Zampella of the Silicon Valley. He's out of the Palo Alto office, and we are rehashing, just getting together after we haven't talked probably in a couple years, but it's just like we're sitting in our living room just chatting away, having a cocktail. Okay, I know the Silicon Valley. Not everyone in the world knows. Well, they probably do, but name some of the big companies down there that that feed to your communities.
Sure. So I really work like Los Gatos to San Francisco. So in the south part there, you've got Netflix, Apple, Google. I mean, you kind of name it, right? Google, Meta. Then you go up to San Francisco, we have Salesforce, Instagram, Dropbox, Box. So really any kind of tech. And as you, I'm sure, know too, AI has been the big thing. So we're now undisputed capital of AI in the U.S. is right here locally. So you name it, from the lawyers to the high-end CPAs to pretty much every tech company, we've got it.
So you do San Francisco too?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay, good to know for me. That's awesome. So you just said AI. So let's stop going to that. So do you use AI? I was testing it out the other day, about a couple months ago. So I wrote just a few things down: 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2.5 bath, and Piedmont, close to schools, all the basics. And it really came back with really great information, and so descriptive. Like, I spent hours writing it and it still sounded like me. I do want to point out to people who might not know this, and then I want you to talk about your experience with AI. In real estate, we can't say words like family or walk, because not everyone can walk. Everyone has a family, although I disagree with that, because you can have a family. It doesn't have to be a mother and a daughter, a mother and a dad and a mom and whatever. So, but you can't use certain words because it's a violation of HUD. So how are you using AI, and are you enjoying it?
I am. I think it's really great for research. That's what I've been using it for. So things to find out about zoning, certain laws. I think that's where, for me, the most important part is from the research side of it, able to grab information, all over the web on what we're trying to do, specifically with houses, if it's a developer or who it might be, in terms of what we can do with the property, land use.
Okay, I love that. I absolutely love that because I have an appointment today at 3 o'clock, and you can help me ask the question. I guess I'll ask it myself now. But so it's a house on a pretty it's 6,400 square foot lot.
Wow.
There's plenty. There's part you can drive through a gate, so there's parking. Small house, but there's and in the back is a very nice 2 car garage, even though the house is quite small. Then there's land on the left. So my question to the city of Los Angeles would be, can, can you put an ADU,
Right.
and how big can that ADU be? Will I get an answer?
Yeah, I think you will. And you can even be more specific because in our municipalities, it really changes. Like I just went through this with a client in Saratoga, and we looked it up and wrote in something similar into AI, and it was yes, you can't not say no to an ADU. It's a ministerial approval, and it's 900 to 1,200 feet. And I learned that in about 30 seconds.
Wow. And you didn't have to go to the city to verify. You got that.
Oh no, we should probably put a disclaimer in there that
Right.
everything should be double checked. I think it's a good starting point, just like any kind of disclosure. But yeah, I think there should be a little bit more certainty, I guess, if you're
Right.
going to really bank on it.
Like we do, just like we do for square footage.
Yes.
This is what we're given, but
Right.
you have to make sure that super. I just, yeah, I'm kind of, it's like we could do so much. I know in the beginning I was a little afraid because I was,
Yeah.
walking through San Francisco airport and I saw a robot making coffee, and I felt bad for someone who could have had that job,
Sure.
So it could be scary, but it's quite fun, like especially the research, like you just said. So what? All right, not everyone knows how far airports. I think that's we're agents, but we help people with their lifestyle, especially when they're coming from out of the area. We try to help them
Yeah.
restaurant shops. There's just they're coming if they're coming in from a new place, they don't know where everything is. A client of mine is here from Colorado, and she's like, I don't know how far it's going to get from Piedmont to Berkeley. Is there going to be, commuter traffic? I'm like, it's right next door, but she doesn't know. And then, the map sends her like on a wild goose chase, not the way you would have normally gone. So, from an airport, so where I know the airports, what airports do you feed to, and how far are they? I guess. I mean, you cover a lot of areas, but just give me a lowdown.
Yeah, I mean,
on
we're Palo Alto, Portola Valley are kind of right in the middle. San Jose International below us, and then San Francisco SFO right above us. So we're kind of right in the middle. You can go either way on 280 or 101, and super easy. It can't be any more than 20 minutes.
that. Oh, nice, very
Yeah.
nice. What colleges and universities are nearby?
Oh, maybe you've heard of it. Well, Stanford University. So that's our big one. Is Stanford? Obviously, I think that's even for real estate. It's a very big place for employment too. So a lot of people want to be close to Stanford for employment, for school. And so that's why Palo Alto really is the center of what we do on the Mid Peninsula, and then it just kind of goes out from there.
Okay. Well, you have other colleges and universities.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else we have San Jose State. There's been a lot of great CEOs to come out of San Jose State on the south part of town. Obviously, San Francisco University is the medical school. USF, or is it USF? Is the
USF.
medical USF
Yeah.
is the big medical school there. I don't know why I'm blanking now on what else.
No, you're right, Santa Clara, and then you also have Foothill
Santa
as
Clara.
City College. I know people go to City College sometimes before they go on to the four-year university, and you have
Yeah, we've got
Foothill.
Foothill and De Anza.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, and yeah, Santa Clara is beautiful. I mean, the whole area.
Well, Santa
Um,
Clara is another great one. I don't know why I missed that. That was a great law school too. I think my brother-in-law went there.
oh, right, your brother went there. Well, I went to Cal.
Oh, there you go.
Stanford, but yes. All right. What you tell me what you're going to do today or what you did yesterday, just to give people a taste of, I know what I have to do today as soon as I get off this. What are some things, we do little things, big things, teeny little things that just add up, add to our list. Give us an idea of what's on your agenda for the next couple days or the last couple days.
I got to tell you, that's one of the most amazing things about this business is every day is different. So
Yeah.
today I'm writing an offer for a client. I've got a follow up for another client who has a tenant that I placed who'll be moving out, and then we're going to put that house on the market. I've got another house that they just moved out of, so I've got to go over there and check the prep because we're doing, paint, some counters, floors, and that's got to be cleaned and staged. So today's a really busy day. Like I said, I got the offer and one house to prep, and then one for a tenant that's moving out. So, but yesterday I was on the phone all day. I think it was like 5 or 6 calls with clients, going back and forth. And then tomorrow I'll be showing some stuff on the weekend. So we've got showings in the mornings and the afternoons. And I have no showings today, so it's completely different every day. I wake up, I've got to look at my schedule and see what we've got planned, but it's not the same as yesterday.
That's exactly what Adam tells. My husband is a partner of 35 years. When he's talking to the agents, he'll say, we do the same thing different. We do the same thing different every day. And we never know what we're going to do. And I think that's why we love it so much, is that you never know. So it's fun. It's like every day we're pivoting and adjusting. This morning at 7, I got a call and my client said, can we switch it from 2 to 3? He doesn't realize that I have other people that now I need to move. And so you're constantly juggling, you're begging people to get, to adjust to your schedule because they just asked you to adjust. And I had Xander out with me. We went to one of our new listings coming up, and we went to a home inspection. We walked to a house, and we were going through. I said, go through this house and tell me it's getting ready for market. Look at the switch plates, look at light bulbs, look at any dents, look at, I want you to give me a list of what needs to be done. And I said, and next time I'm going to send you to the house by yourself, and I want you to go through the house. I mean, the list could be really long, minor things, but when we're getting a house ready for market, all of a sudden you're looking at it with such a different eye. And so it's really fun to teach someone, because then you're like, oh my God, you just do it. So you don't really think about it. I was exhausted just training him and showing him all the things we do. I go, oh my God, this is insane. When you do it, you're just like, okay, I'm just.
No, when you're in it, it's a little bit autopilot, and it's stuff that people don't even really think of. Like, do you know one of the major improvements, or I shouldn't say improvements, repairs that I make on 90% of the houses I sell is
what?
grout.
So true.
I love my grout guy. I don't know if anyone's ever said that in the history of the English language. I love my grout guy. And he does the bathrooms. I don't know what he does, if he cleans it or replaces it, but it makes the whole bathroom so fresh. There's no mildew. And it's something you might not know if you're not experienced. But, it's just more than just paint and staging.
That is so true. Today I'm going to look at a house, and I already know what we're doing, but just a quick run through. You walk to a house, you're like, okay, that garden needs to be totally cleaned up. House needs to be painted. The deck needs to be restained. Then you kind of look in the kitchen and you're like, you're not going to remodel a kitchen typically for market, but the counters could be replaced. The cabinets could be painted, new knobs, updated knobs. Going into the bathroom, it's kind of a refresh, usually new lights, sometimes counters, and definitely grout, always the grout.
Grout and painting the cabinet. I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't remodel either. It's just painting the cabinets, new counters, new knobs. And new grout. You've got a brand new bathroom and kitchen, and matching appliances. Make sure they're all stainless steel. Go to the local place that has the dent on the side that you can't see or something. And you got to make it look as fresh as possible, as clean as possible, and a blank slate for the buyers, and that's what they want, I think.
Absolutely. Because I always say, so if a buyer walks in, like when you're talking to a seller, because they're going to be spending the money, right? If I walk in and I say, well, that doesn't look good, they're going to think, what else is wrong with the house?
Yeah.
If this little thing isn't addressed, it could be something as like, a switch plate that's white and then yellow, white and beige. They're two different colors. The switch part is, white and the other part is yellow or whatever. And you're like, so minor, but if they start to see little things, then they're going to say, what's wrong with the rest of the house? So you don't want, Adam always says, you don't want to give buyers a reason not to buy.
Yep,
and so We do the same thing. Um, so what is your strategy for staying informed about market trends and changes in regulations or laws affecting the real estate industry?
I think the laws and regulations, a lot of that gets disseminated from the broker. I think I get a lot of stuff coming from corporate that way. I mean, I read as much as I can and talk to as many people as I can, but I think a lot of that comes from the broker, or at least it has for us. It's been nice. They've done a nice job with that. In terms of market trends, I'm a huge fan of time studies. So I love to know what houses sold for 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago. And so you could do a time study on that neighborhood, similar property from 3 years ago, and how's it trading today. And so you can kind of get the idea of appreciation or depreciation or whatever. Typically it's appreciation. But you can at least see, hey, look, this will likely be a 20% return on investment, or 10% return cash on cash, and whatever it might be. And so that analysis, to me, I think really shows where specific neighborhoods go over whatever time period you want to look at.
And so when you're getting that information, are you blogging about that? Are you bringing it to an open house? Are you just putting it in your head, and when you need to relay that to a client?
That specifically would be for a client who was interested in a property. I think that'd be really helpful in an open house. I never thought of that. That's a really great idea. But if we're looking at a house that they want to buy, I think people really want to make sure they're making a good investment, especially when you're competing and you have to be the highest offer. I always tell people, if you're the highest offer, you're overpaying. I mean, that's just kind of the general nature of multiple offers, I think. And so we just kind of want to pay the least we can, but are we going to see a return? And the likelihood of that is maybe what we look at in terms of what is sold years past and where it's going, because we're all kind of guessing with that, and it's a little bit of a guesstimate there. But if we can look at trends and where the neighborhood's gone, yeah, I mean, we can make the assumption that it's good, a better investment than others.
Okay, in your area, that just seems crazy. People are paying crazy prices. There's no rhyme or reason. I mean, those houses in Palo Alto that are like nothing and they're selling for so much, they're not worth that. It's just because there's so many people coming in to work at these huge companies down there. So how could you say that is worth that? Some 50s tract houses, $5 million.
Debbi, you of all people know the cardinal rule of real estate. It's worth what someone's willing to pay for it, right?
Oh
So,
my
I mean, I
God.
can tell you countless stories. I had a client years ago in Los Altos. It was before the pandemic. He really liked this piece of property. I think it was listed for 5. It was started getting contentious with the bidding war, and he just stepped up and said, I'll give you $8 million all cash and we'll close in 4 days. And we closed it. And it was, you're right, he wanted that property, and he had the cash.
Please tell me it was a nice property. Was it a nice property? It wasn't even a nice property.
It was right next to downtown Los Altos, so the walkability was really high, and that was his desire and where he wanted to be. Inventory has been low for years, and when it comes up and you got some funny money, like you said, from the tech companies, you double down.
So did he remodel the whole house? Did he tear it down?
Oh, we tore it down, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh my God, that's just crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
How do you? We're chatting away here. How do you poise? Market's competitive, right? It's hard to. There's not a ton of inventory. I mean, even though you specialize in a lot of areas, people kind of want to live in it when they're looking to buy. They're probably focusing on 1 or 2 areas. How do you poise your buyers for success?
Well, I think knowing the other agent on the other side is really important. What I'm going to do is try and, just like with my sellers, we're just trying to set you up for success. So the best way we can do that is prepare the offer as beautifully as we can, with the least amount of contingencies, the most down payment, whatever it might be, the quickest close. What does the seller want? Do they need a rent back? Do they care about a quick close? Do they have a tax burden that they need to deal with that maybe they want to do a longer close? So we're really trying to understand every party. Everybody always talks about being the matchmaker, right? So we're matchmaking the buyer and the seller, and we just figure out terms if we can get there on price. Sometimes it's not, as you know, it's not always about price. There's the love letters sometimes, or, maybe the highest. I'll never forget, I won an offer in San Francisco. We were all cash, and there was a loan that was about $100,000 or $200,000 more for us, and the agent was nervous about the loan, and she went with us, and we got it because we were all cash. So in that particular instance, it was the cash part. But I've won plenty of deals where it was a family with 2 kids and a dog, and that's who they wanted to sell to.
No, it's so true. I was in.
It is.
It was terrible. We didn't. There was well, there's good stories and bad. One of them was we kept going right on. We were exactly the same. Come here, Charlie. I have a dog today. Come here, Charlie. Come on. We were exactly, and then they countered us, and then we were exact again. And then the letter that the other people wrote just matched them to a T. Yeah. And the agent felt so bad because I was the first person who had come, and he just was sick about it because he's like, I wanted to, Debbie, but they just resonated with this family. Right. And they were descriptive and this was like 10 years ago. And the part of it was, I love the way that their letter was. I love the way the backyard weaves around the trees and, the pathways. And it was AI and it was, written, and it wasn't AI, but it was so frustrating. And then Adam sold a house $100,000 less than the price. No one could understand. Obviously there was no cheating. They took it. They signed his client's offer. I mean, when do you hear $100,000 less? But it resonated. So super important to make that match. So we are getting to the end. We've been chatting along. What other advice would you give to your son, your daughter, or your 25-year-old self?
Oh my! Just general advice?
Oh no, in real estate,
in real estate.
Or to come into real estate, or it could be coming into real estate. Would you? Yes.
I really believe, the golden rule: treat others like you want to be treated. I think that is going to get people the furthest, whether you're looking for business, whether you're looking for someone to, have reciprocity with an offer, or, vice versa. If you've got the offer, they do. I think the way you treat people really, goes the distance with how they remember you, and having your reputation is all we have in this business. And I think you don't want that tarnished. And as soon as it is, it's going to be really hard to come back from that. So treat people well and have a great reputation, and you'll go far in this business and in life.
That is so true. It's so important because, as you know, you were saying earlier when we started the show, it could be very cutthroat. But when you continue to be the kind, integritous person that you are, it does come back. Yes, some people could do some things along the way, but if you continue to live in that way, karma comes back and rewards you for that. And it feels so much better, and it's so much more fun to share. People say, why do you do what you do? You do everything for free. And I'm like, because it makes me feel good. And then, I don't know, stuff comes back from all these places. I'm just planting seeds and having fun and sitting here talking to my fun realtors and learning. And I learned some great things today. So how do people get a hold of you, Matt? How can we get a hold of you?
I think the best way is probably my website, just my last name, Zampella.com, Zampella. Everything's there. My social, phone numbers, emails, all the properties I've sold, represented. Actually, I don't know if all of them there, but a lot of them are, and give you a sample of what I've done and who I am.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time today. I look forward to coming down to the Silicon Valley, and I love that Palo Alto, though. The restaurants there you have is so cute. I did go down over the Christmas time and went to Sur La Table. I don't cook, but I did. My son and his girlfriend and Adam went and took a class there, and it's so cute. So there's a lot to do in Palo Alto. So when you go down to Palo Alto, look Matt up, and I'm sure he'll come with his suit and tie and take you out for a glass of wine. Thank you so much for being on Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Real Estate with host Debbi DiMaggio. Here Fridays, noon Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network. Tune in to where real estate matters matter.